I'm so fortunate to be included in the 2020 Prix de West Invitational at the National Cowboy Museum. The museum is now open following CDC guidelines, and the show opens to the public August the 1st. The sale and banquet unfortunately have been canceled. The sales are virtual this year. I hope you will take a moment to look at my paintings on the Prix de West website. I love this show, and I certainly will miss seeing everyone in person this year. As always, the paintings I created for this year's Prix de West are a direct reflection of my adventures. Tom and I had 2 amazing camping trips to Point Sublime on the north rim of Grand Canyon this last year. The 20-mile forest road to the point is extremely rough, and it takes most of a day to negotiate it just one way. But when you arrive, you know it is well worth the effort. I think it is the most incredible view in the canyon. The depth and the distance is humbling. From here, you understand the size and true grandeur of nature. This panorama became one of the most recognizable views of Grand Canyon when William Holmes' illustration of this spot was published in Clarence E. Dutton's book, The Tertiary History of the Grand Canyon District in 1882. The detail in this drawing is remarkable. I've been to Point Sublime many times over the years, my first visit being nearly 40 years ago. I have done many plein air paintings from this point, but I feel I'm only now close to starting a major painting of this incredible vista, which I hope will be this year. Many historians think this was the view that inspired Thomas Moran's epic canvas, Chasm of the Colorado. His painting is a combined composition of many points, but elements of Point Sublime are certainly evident. I envision my large-scale painting as a contemporary view with recognizable geology. The quality and color of the air of Grand Canyon is always my starting point of every canvas, and I never fear the challenge. I did a small painting looking south from the point in late afternoon light. Lingering smoke of the nearby forest burn softened and grayed the vista. I am very fond of this painting and its smoky effect. In the fall, when we went back to North Rim, I painted the view looking west towards the temples Zoroaster and Brahma as seen from Cape Royal. The trail was filled with many curious tourists from all over the world. I was happy Tom would answer most of their questions while I continued to paint. The view is a test of drawing and knowledge of the canyon's geology, and I really wanted time to concentrate and capture the forms. I think I passed the test. The Kaibab, Torweep, and Coconino formations dominate the view to the right. The temples moved into silhouette early in the afternoon. The air and the shadows were quite warm, and the blues moved to the cool side. The canvas is not large, only 16 by 16, but the color and composition are indeed big. I'm very pleased with this painting. In 2015, Tom and I visited the canyon in early March. Most of the day was gray and fog covered most of the canyon. On the rim trail just east of El Tovar, the sun was breaking only in spots. I had a chance to quickly do a charcoal sketch of that flash of sunset as a memory aid. I have wanted to paint that moment for 5 years, and this spring, as the hot weather moved in and I found myself feeling trapped due to COVID, the moment was right and the canvas called to me. I primed a linen canvas with the tint of Indian yellow. It was perfect for this project. I worked out my composition and drawing using soft charcoal. I blocked in color and shapes that I thought would serve as a guide to paint my sky. Because of the fog that day, I could not see the distant north rim, so the last light cresting on the Grandview Point became the dominant focal point of this composition. After painting the sky in the lower left corner, I worked my way up the wall, defining snow patterns and important detail of the Coconino sandstone and the highlighted ridge of Kaibab limestone. Snow rarely falls below the Hermit Shell, but as with this storm, fluffy snow hung on everything along the rim. There was an elegance to the patterns of snow against the dark and the fog. This painting reminds me of a golden crown. Style and character of art should always be changing. The very meaning of art is freedom to grow. Set in stone rules are not good for artists' creativity and denies them growth. It is very important to me each and every painting is a statement of its own, especially my Grand Canyons. I do not believe for a second that collectors really want me to repeat the same thing that I did last year, and I don't believe any artist should be asked to do that, ever. Artists should always paint what inspires them. Their art will guide and teach everyone. By doing so, the art, the artist, and the shows will prosper, even in a pandemic.